Hello everybody, this is Luke from the Stronghold podcast and Stronghold MMA. I'm here with my wife Charmaine, a fellow owner of Stronghold MMA, and I want to break down the finish between Islam Makhachev and Drew Dober. He basically did what they call the Flue choke, or it's an arm triangle from inside the half guard. This is a really effective technique. You can catch a lot of people with it, you can surprise a lot of people with it, and it's also a very useful technique for passing the guard. So let's get started. Okay, so this is a really great choke and a really great setup, an easy way to surprise people. Now it starts off with Islam Makhachev being caught in a kimura inside the half guard. So currently Charmaine has one of my legs trapped, all right? Now for this choke, you really don't have to pass the guard in order to hit it, which is what happened when Makhachev was able to get the tap. So originally he was stuck in a kimura here, right? So he's defending the kimura. Now the good thing about the kimura is there's lots of options here for sweeps and for finishes, but the problem is that I'm past Charmaine's frame, right? What she would really want to do to prevent this choke is to be pushing me with her forearm here. But the fact that she's reached over and controlling the kimura means there's no frame. So as long as she has the kimura grip, she's safe. But once Makhachev is able to free the grip, you can see right now that I have a good threat on the arm triangle, the Flue choke. Okay, couple details. Number one, keep your head tight. If my head is loose and there's all this space between our ears, she can raise her arm up and then come back in and get the frame. Once she gets this frame, I can't really finish it anymore. Okay, so some key details here. Okay, first, this is an arm triangle, and for all of you guys who are working on your arm triangles, you must remember that there's 2 points of pressure here. Okay, number one is my arm on this side of her neck. Right, as I wrap my bicep around, it's going to close off the carotid artery on one side of her neck. But most people, when they finish arm triangles, they're just focusing on squeezing very hard. They're not focused on cutting off both sides of the neck. Now, this side here, the shoulder being pushed into the side of the neck here is what's going to make this choke work. Right, so you can't just focus on the squeeze on one side. You have to make sure you're shutting off the blood on both sides of the neck. Okay, so as Islam is in here reaching, he's got a really good bite. He's nice and deep here on the shoulder. You see him start to shift his hips here. So now he can drive with his toes. I don't know if you can see my toes, but I'm on my toes here, and I can actually drive in and put pressure on the neck. Okay, now, for me, personally, I like to go plum grip, like a Muay Thai plum. Okay, this is the grip that I like to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this shoulder into the side of the neck. So I go palm to the back of the hand, and I'm dropping my shoulder in on her neck on one side, and I'm going to pull this shoulder into this side of her neck. So that way it cuts off and there's pressure on both sides of the neck. Okay, now one more common mistake we see here. You don't want to drive your weight up. I don't want to push up her chin. Okay, that's going to crank her jaw, and it's not taking the pressure down into the neck like we want. So what you want to do here is you want to squeeze, and then you want to drop your shoulder down. Okay, you don't want to drive up. Okay, your hand should still be above your shoulder, not below it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you the finish here. We get a deep grip. What I want to do, if I can, is get my fingers like in her armpit. So I reach all the way around, I get my fingers into the lat or the armpit, and then I reinforce with the second hand. So both hands are pulling. Okay, now, as I switch my hips and I start to drive with my leg, I pull this shoulder into the carotid artery on one side of her neck, and then you can see my bicep is going to drop into the other side. Okay, so we're here. Now, I lift my hips slightly, I pull the shoulder, and then I slowly start to work my hand in. You gotta let it go a little bit so that they can see it. This, guys, this really works. You get a ton of pressure here, okay? And a lot of times what I do is I'll do this, and if I can't get the tap, there's so much pressure on her neck from this choke that a lot of times they'll just open the legs, and then I'll pass. You can mount, you can finish it from the side, and you can also finish this from side control. Okay, so as long as I can clear this arm here, I can do the same choke. You can see I'm pulling this shoulder into this side of her neck. My bicep is going to go into this side of the neck. And then same thing, I can switch my base, and then I can easily finish from right here. So, this is called the Von Flue choke, named after Jason Von Flue, who hit this in the early UFCs, or it's basically just an arm triangle, right? It's an arm in, arm triangle that you're gonna do. Now, the key details again, make sure that you're pulling the shoulder to one side of the neck as you're dropping the bicep in on the other, and you need to make sure you keep your head tight to clear the frame. If your partner can push away with you, push your head away with their forearm, the choke won't work. But I encourage all of you guys to try this in class. It's extremely effective, and even if you can't get the submission, you can definitely elicit a reaction that can often help you with passing the guard or taking the back. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is Luke and Charmaine from Stronghold MMA and from the Stronghold podcast. Thank you very much.